Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'll walk you everything you need to become proficient with Tmux. And by the end of this tutorial, you have a solid understanding of Tmux to use it effectively. Alright then, let's first understand what actually is Tmux. So Tmux is a term of multiplexer. In simple words, it allows you to run multiple terminals inside a single window. So let's take a look. What I'm trying to demonstrate you is I've just logged into my Linux server, and within second I can split my screen into panes and launch a new window and even detach from the session. And later when I reconnect from a completely different computer, all my processes are still running exactly where I left them. One more thing I want to tell before we jump in this video is that I'll focus on the essential only, that is session panes and windows and everything that I think is important. After that you will be able to manage and use Tmux effectively. Alright, so first thing first, what you have to do is make sure Tmux is already installed on your system. If you are using Parrot OS, Ubuntu or Kali Linux, you can easily grab it through the aptitude package manager. To install Tmux, just hit sudo apt install Tmux and hit enter. This will install Tmux in your system. As you can see, in my case it's already installed, so I don't need to be worried about that. Now that's everything set up, we can finally start with the Tmux session. All we need to do is simply type in Tmux just like that and hit enter. Now we are in Tmux. The moment you launch your Tmux, you will see a highlighted green status bar at the bottom of your terminal. This bar displays your window starting at 0, but right now we have got only one window open in Tmux, and you can create as many as you want. Each new window you create can be renamed and will be numbered sequentially in an increasing order starting from 0, and the asterisks highlight which one is currently active. That's something important you have to keep in mind as you work with multiple windows. Alright, then let's first start with panes. So what exactly are panes in Tmux? You can think of panes as split section within a single terminal window. So instead of opening multiple terminal tabs and windows, Tmux let you divide one window into multiple panes, where each pane can run its own command or process independently, or you can also split them vertically or horizontally according to your task, and each pane act like its own mini terminal. Now let me show you something really interesting. So let me do continuous ping, and meanwhile I'll create few panes out here. And just like I said, you can create as multiple panes as you want, which let you split your terminal into different sections and each handling its own task. And also this make it quite helpful in terms of multitasking and easy to run multiple tasks side by side without opening a new window. So let's say for example you might run system monitoring tool like a stop here in second pane while running scripts in another, and switching between panes is quite quick while closing doesn't affect the others. Alright, let's do it. So the first thing I wanted to do to create a new pane is I'll have to hit the hotkey. Hit Ctrl B and Shift +5 or percentage sign, and as you can see that it split your terminal into two sections and it create a new pane on our right. Now after creating panes, you might want to move between panes. Is also just as simple as that. All you have to do is just use your arrow keys. So if I wanted to go to the left, I would hit Ctrl B and the left arrow key, or if I wanted to go to the right, I would hit Ctrl B and the right arrow key, and so on and so forth. So let's say if I wanted to run system monitoring tool like a stop here, I can run a stop there, or if I wanted to go to the next pin, I can do as well, and I can do all that I wanted to do here. So if I wanted to create another pin right over here, I can do as well. Just hit Ctrl B and the percentage sign and it will create a new vertical pane, and if you want to create a horizontal one, just hit Ctrl B and double quotes. This will create a new horizontal pane at the bottom of the current vertical pane on our right. Here the one I am currently active in. So as you can see, you can create as multiple panes as you want, and there's a lot of stuff you can do within these panes as I told earlier in this video. So if I wanted to navigate between these pins, you can simply utilize your arrow keys. Just to say, if I wanted to navigate up, I can simply hit Ctrl B and the up arrow key, or down use Ctrl B and down arrow key, and so on and so forth. Now there's another method to navigate between panes. You can press Ctrl B followed by Q. This will briefly display a number over each pane. Once the number appears, you can simply press the corresponding number key to jump directly to that pane. So now you get the idea what panes are, how to create them, and how to navigate between them. It's fairly simple to understand. So if I wanted to close down any specific pane, just hit exit and it will shut it down for you. So if I wanted to go to the next one, I can hit Ctrl B and the left arrow key and hit exit, and that closes down the pane I have created. So again, if you want to create a vertical pane, just hit Ctrl B and the percentage sign, and for horizontal one, just hit Ctrl B and double quotes. Alright, let's talk about Windows in Tmux. You can think of Windows as separate workspace, each with its own environment where you can do all you want to do. For example, you might keep one window for Git, another for Docker, a third one for editing code or running scripts. And there's one more thing is that inside each window you can create as many panes as you want to create in terms of multitasking. Also, you can rename or reorder windows to keep everything organized in order to achieve the task. And the best part is that switching between windows is seamless and everything inside keeps running even you are focused on another window. So now let's focus on creating a new window. So the command for that is Ctrl V and C. This will create a new window. As you can see, the new window is going to be labeled after the previous one and its name is ZSH because I am currently in the ZSH shell and it's highlighted with the asterisk that mean I am currently in window 1. Now if I wanted to switch back to window 0, I would hit Ctrl B and 0 and you can see the asterisk is shifted to 0. So just to show you that it's working, I can run something like ping in window 0. Then if I move to window 1 by hitting Ctrl B and 1, we have nothing there, but if I wanted to run a stop here, I can run a stop there, and if I switch back to Windows 0, the ping command in Windows 0 keeps running in the background while I work on something else. Now let's talk about renaming windows. So let's say if I wanted to rename a particular window, for example, in this window I want to do all my Git related stuff here. So to rename this window, I will hit Ctrl B and the comma, and here I'll rename it to Git, and you can see that it will rename it to Git. Similarly, I can rename the second window. To rename, I can switch back to window by hitting Ctrl B and 1, and then I can press Ctrl B and comma to rename it, let's say Docker, if I'm working with Docker. So this will help you to keep your windows organized and easy to navigate, and also tells to what we are going to be using these windows for, and also create panes here as I told earlier. One more thing, if you wanted to close down a particular window, simply type exit in that window and it will shut it down for you. And as you can see, we have only one window open, which is Git 1. Alright, so that's fairly simple to understand. By now you have the idea how to create and navigate windows in Tmux. So now let's talk about sessions. Sessions are what makes Tmux truly powerful. You can think of a session as a workspace that contain all your windows and panes bundled together. Every time you start a Tmux, it automatically creates a new session for you by default. And the best part about session is that they preserve the entire state of your terminal, means every window, every pane and every running processes, all of it stays exactly as it is even if you disconnect. So if your terminal closes unexpectedly or your SSH connection drops, nothing stops running, everything continues silently in the background. And when you reconnect later, just reattach to the session and you are back where you left off without losing any progress. So first I'm going to detach from the session so we can create a new one. So to detach from the session, press Ctrl V and D. This will detaches you from the session you are currently active in. And as you can see, we are back in the normal terminal, and to start a fresh session, just type Tmux and hit enter. So let me detach from this one and let's spin up another one by typing Tmux and hit enter. And one more just like that, and we have already multiple sessions running in the background. So if I wanted to create a new session and give it a specific name, you can do Tmux new -s and name of the session. So let's name this one ping, and you will notice the session name displayed at the bottom of the screen. Now let's detach from this session, and even after detaching, all your session continue running in the background. To view all your active session, use Tmux ls, just like listing files or directories. This lists every session currently running in the background, so you can easily keep track of everything that's active. And if you want to jump back into the most recent session, you can simply reattach using this command Tmux A. This let you attach to the last active session. So when you reconnect using Tmux A, you will drop right back into the previous workspace with all your panes, windows and running processes exactly as you left them. But what if you have a multiple session and you want to attach to a specific one? So let's say session 1. So let's detach from this session, and there's a small change in the command. So all you have to do is just add a target. Hit Tmux A-T for target and name of the session. So let's take the session 1. This lets you reattach to a specific session you want and not just the most recent one. And also this gives you precise control over which workspace you want to return to. And now I just wanted to show that it's really preserved the state. To do so, I can do ping here and just detach from this session by hitting Ctrl B and D. And if I do Tmux ls, it shows it's currently running in the background. So if I reattach to this session and see it's still doing ping, and this shows that it preserved the state. So I hope you have understand and get the idea how it's work. So now let's move forward and talk about renaming session. So first I'm gonna detach from this session and do tmux ls. You can see it's currently named as ping. So if I wanted to rename the session, I'll hit tmux rename session -t and I'll specify the target here, which will be session ping. And after that, let's give this session a name. Let's say git and hit enter. And again, if you do tmux ls, you will see it's renamed to git. Now let's say I wanted to create a new session and also I want to give it a name without going into the session. To do so, I can hit tmux new -s and I can specify it's going to be a session, and then I can assign it a name. Let's say I wanted to work with Docker. And again, if I detach from this session and list the session, you can now see we have ping and Docker session running concurrently, running their own processes. Again, as I said, this session will be preserved until the system reboots. So that's something important to keep in mind as well. So now let's talk about killing or deleting session. So once you are done with your session and you want to close it completely, hit tmux kill session -t for target and name of the session. So let us start with the ping session and hit enter. So if I list down the session, you will see there is no ping session currently running because it kills the ping session. We can do this for other session as well. Let's say docker one and hit enter. And once you list down the session, you will see there is no docker session running right now. Or if I wanted to kill down all the running session in one go, all you have to do is just hit tmux kill server. This force closes all session along with everything running inside them. So that was a comprehensive video and we have just covered pretty much everything you wanted to know about Tmux. And one more thing, that you don't have to use all the Tmux feature. If all you cared about just attaching or detaching session, this will be more than enough. So that's all for today's guys. It might take little time to get used to all the hotkeys, but trust me, the more you practice, the faster it clicks. And start experimenting with panes, windows and session, and you'll quickly realize just how powerful Tmux is. So thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.